Alright guys, welcome back to OP Tinker's Garage. This is going to be a box opening of the 6-quart oil pan, the Hemi oil pan that's being repopped by 440 Source at this time. Currently you can see that I've pulled it out of the box. This is just how it came. They did a really good job boxing everything up so there's no dents or dings in the pan. Initial impressions are pretty good. I mean, from what I can see, it's a pretty quality pan. Just pulling it out and taking a look at it. The pan itself is, you probably noticed, where they actually gain their depth is not top to bottom like the old style pans. They actually gain it by moving the sump forward. So this is going to sit closer to the K member than this going down. Now granted, that doesn't give you as much room to reach in here and squeeze your hand in between the K to service things or grab things, but you're not doing that too often. Also, the pan itself has stiffening ribs, which are going to be hard to see in between the bolt holes because this is black. I don't believe my 971 repop pan did as well. And then you can see there's pretty ample room as far as the baffles go. It should fit most pickup styles. I haven't tried putting this on yet, but I will with my current pickup setup. The depth on this is about 5 inches to the bottom, and they did recommend a few styles of pickups. I do have the Mopar Performance reproduction pickup for a 971 oil pan. I'll link in the part number, but based on talking with the rep at 440 Source and doing measurements, I shouldn't have a problem with this pan. And then it also obviously gives me 2 more quarts. I am replacing my pan just so I can run I would prefer to run a high volume pump because my engine does have some higher clearances. And then second, my other pan, it was just old and there was some coating on the inside of it that I didn't trust as it was flaking off, and there actually was a pinhole leak. So for $100, I really don't think you can beat it. The only other difference I want to check here is, it's odd, is they give you on the bottom of this pan, there's this little rubber plug that covers the drain plug, which does look slimmer maybe than my normal one that came off my other pan. I did keep it for replacement. I also don't like that they give you this plastic style sealing washer. Those almost always leak. What I'm probably going to end up doing, if it does, is replacing it with a copper washer. I did just buy a set from Harbor Freight and then trim the copper washer to fit around the base circumference of the threads here, and then it sealed up my other pan perfectly. So I'm probably going to do the same. But again, I'm not really sure what this little rubber cap is for or does, but I guess it's just to prevent your drain plug if it scrapes or something like that. I am going to check because the last drain plug was 15/16 and see how this one is, what size it is here. Yeah, it's definitely not a 15/16 compared to what the old one was. Let's see if they dropped it down to a 3/4 here. No, it's bigger than a 3/4. So the 13/16 is barely fitting on it. I'm beginning to think it's metric, based on what I'm seeing, which again isn't the end of the world. I understand that you can only get so many fasteners, but just be aware. Yeah, 7/8 fits really loosely. So they did end up making it metric. It's probably an 18 or a 19 millimeter is what I'm thinking. Again, I'll check the threads in the pan and see if those are the same as the 15/16 bolt I have. I don't see why they wouldn't be, but again, you never know. But overall impressions are pretty good. It looks like a decent pan. It came clean. There's no dents, dings. It looks like it's a decent paint job. Obviously, I'm going to end up painting the outside of it a little bit of a different color, but I just wanted to show you guys what you're getting, as there's not much info on these pans, but again, I'll let you know if it works with my pickup, and then I'll link that below if it does. Alright guys, so this is a update on the 440 Source 6-quart Hemi repop pan that they sell. I did get mine installed on the car at this time, and honestly I'm pretty impressed with it, I'm not gonna lie. What made the installation pretty easy is I did go ahead, as you can see, and remove the inspection cover for the transmission and took the bolts out. Basically that gives you a little bit more room, because if you don't, the back of the pan here will bump against these bolts when you're trying to get it in. Also, the clearance here is pretty good. I can fit my whole index finger still between the front of the pan and the K, so I'd say there's at least a ½ inch there. The only downside is that this nut is metric, and I did try threading in the old drain plug bolt, and it obviously doesn't go in because it is metric. So they did convert that over. It's a 21 mil, but I mean, no complaints really, besides that the whole rest of the car is SAE, and now I gotta make sure I have one metric bolt for that. But yeah, it went on great. I got the black one. As you can see, I painted it to match the engine as well as I could. Another thing to note is I didn't use the pickups they offer, kind of by accident. I did use the Mopar pickup, which was P500-7848. Again, that's P500-7848. It is the curved style pickup. I did manage to get it on sale at Mancini. It's still offered, Mancini Racing out of Detroit, Michigan. It is still offered on sites like Year One or other things, but it's like extremely expensive. It was only like $40 or less on Mancini Racing site. I think they were just trying to get rid of them because it was originally for the 971 pan that I had on this car. That ended up not working out. There were some pinholes in it and some other things wrong with it, which is why I ended up replacing it with this. But again, that was recommended for that pan, that pickup, and it just so happens to work really, really well with this pan. I did have to bend it down slightly, but it wasn't more than 1/4 inch. And everything lined up, touched the bottom of the pan like it's supposed to with this style factory pickup. And yeah, I mean, it made installation pretty easy. How I did actually do it to make sure that you figure out if it is touching the bottom if you're using that style pickup was I measured the depth of the pan from here to the rail with my integrated gasket and windage tray installed, because that does add about 1/8 inch to the top of the pan. And I just laid a ruler across it and measured from the bottom of the pan to the top of the ruler, and I got a little over 5 inches and 1/8. And for the pickup, I put a ruler flat across the bottom of the pickup and then measured from the ruler to, you want to measure to the side rail that runs here where the oil pan mounts to, down, and I made sure that it was the same measurement, or less than 1/8 of variation between the two. And it couldn't have worked out better. I mean, it bolted right up, went in. I don't really have any complaints. The only thing you will notice is because you have less space, if you're originally getting to the front bolts of the oil pan from this side, you can't do that. You have to go in through the top here, and let me shine some light in there. But you can get to them from the front with the K member. You just got to use a short 1/4 inch drive, and you'll be able to get to those front bolts and get them in. It was kind of a pain in the butt compared to getting them from underneath, but again, I mean, not everything is perfect. But this does hold a whole 2 extra quarts, and you can run a high volume pump with it. So I do really like that option. So again, if you are considering it, there's not really many downsides to it. Again, that Mopar Performance pickup, the P500-7848, does fit really well and does not hit the baffles in here. So it is a really good option to use unless you decide to go with one of the Morosos or other aftermarket pickups that 440 Source has to offer. But again, thanks for watching the video and the updates on this, and I hope this helps somebody out. And again, just please like and subscribe, and appreciate the support. Thank you.